Welcome to Hack and Tap Podcast.
Huh.
Yep, episode 204. The Cats pounce on the Oilers. It's also pouncing on Steve's mouse. I'm your host, Bill Dean. I'm, of course, here with my three co-hosts, Shorts Guy, Steven, Shrim. You can find us on Primetime Radio, Cursor Miss Sam Wu. I'm behind the glass. It was a little delay because I could not, for some reason, tap the buttons with my big fat fingers. But you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Please leave us a 5-star review if you would be ever so kind. Gentlemen, what are we drinking?
Sounds like somebody needs a special dialing wand.
Yeah. That would
Mash
be
the
fantastic.
keypad with your palm now.
Seriously. All right, Dean, this one's going to be a little special in your heart because I got this the other day because I saw it and I hadn't had it in a
Because it
while.
has lactose.
No.
So it's not special in my heart.
Narragansett, which is the beer of Jaws.
I like it.
Gansett's
that's
are the
cool.
beer of
Nice.
Jaws. I
Yep.
haven't had a Gansett in a long time. I saw it in the liquor store sometime last week. I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a 6 of Gansetts.
I like it.
That's what I got.
I'm working my way. I'm on my last 90 minutes. So
There you go.
cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to beers.
I also have a dogfish. I got it from I don't know if is this the summer pack or the spring pack. I don't know, but it's
Summer
the Grateful
pack.
Dead Juicy Pale Ale. I've never had this one before, so let's try it out.
It's good. It's good. I've had it.
They had that
What's
as a sample at the beer fest over the weekend.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
I have Drecker once again. A lot of Drecker. But this one is Slang du Jour Sour a la Mode, and it's a raspberry cinnamon toast crunch. It does have lactose.
I was gonna say, do we even have to ask?
It does. But I got this weekend when you guys were over. We did have a Drecker that did not have lactose. It was not actually as good. Not that
No.
lactose is the reason, but it just for some reason was not as good as it typically is. And for all
that's lactose.
a good PSA for all, sours or to all fruited, beers and stuff. Always give them a good roll because you get sediment at the bottom. So you want to churn that up a little bit without shaking it because obviously if you shake beer,
That's
it's a disaster.
the smoothie. Yeah, the smoothie
Yeah.
sours. The ones that they actually
So-
brew with like fruit.
So always give them a good roll. They're doing a table or something. This way it doesn't jostle it, but at least gets back into the beer.
Or you could just invert it.
You could.
Invert it for
Yeah,
like,
beautiful.
I don't know how, 30 seconds to a minute.
Sprinkle throughout.
And then it'll
Yep.
settle again.
Let's get what's tap for today's episode. Here's our weekly snapshot. Steven, you said it pretty perfectly when you came over on Saturday. Essentially, Florida's just
A lot of
dominated
things.
this series. You have. Florida's dominated this series, and you could see that they just take it to Edmonton to start the game, which is pretty amazing that they cannot get up for the start of a game. This is the
At
fourth
home.
game in this series.
At
Yeah.
home, no less.
Well, but this is the fourth game in this series that they've allowed 2 to 3 goals to start the game without any counter. They've only led one
Yeah.
time in this series, and only led one time in this series as the meaning your first goal.
Scored first, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just whether it's Picard or Skinner, their goaltending does not seem to be ready. They don't seem to be ready, and
Goaltending's just not good.
Panthers just take
yeah,
advantage.
you said that.
The Panthers just take advantage, and good on them because most likely they're going to win the cup, and no one really will have any negatives to say about it because Edmonton just doesn't seem to be up to start the games.
They're not on the same level, I think, as the Panthers are like a well-oiled machine. They're used to all this. Like that game that they lost, the Panthers in where they blew the 3-goal lead. Excuse me.
Mhm.
And Edmonton comes back and beats them in overtime. You would think that's like a huge loss. And what do the Panthers do? They come right back next game. They don't give a crap and they kick the shit out of them, basically. Like
Yeah,
other
I was-
teams
I
that
was-
would maybe like that would like put
Rattle them.
some doubt or rattle them, yeah, and like, oh shit, maybe the wheels will come off. But no, they didn't give a crap, and they came in and throttle them, friggin' game 5. And Edmonton, one other thing, real quick, Edmonton, you have a huge problem with your team if you don't know who your starting goalie is for Game 6.
Yeah,
That's a huge problem. You can't be in the Stanley Cup final and you don't know who your starting goaltender is for Game 6.
If you don't have two goalies,
you're not winning. You're not winning championships. I'm sorry, you're just not.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not.
Some teams can.
It's not a well balanced matchup at all.
No.
And like we said, the only reason why this is where it is McDavid and Draisaitl, and one or two of the supporting cast over there as well. But it's not even like I said that. I feel like I know that you could say that the other overtime game could have also went to Edmonton, but also Florida could be up 5-0 right now, and it wouldn't surprise anybody.
Yeah.
They for some reason let them play another game after Florida sweeps Edmonton to win the Stanley Cup.
Well, that's the league trying to get a cup for McDavid in Edmonton. It's like no. We'll give you one more try.
You get one more game.
That one didn't count.
What's his face in what's that Men in Tights? He reads the script and he's like, "Oh wait, I get another shot."
Yeah.
Men.
Dynamite reference.
Tights.
It's I'll tell you, it's
and nobody's watching this final. All the viewer ratings are down.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And they're scheduling games. Like the schedule's kind of weird. They have 2 days in between some games and 1 game or 1 day in between other games because they're trying to not be on the same day as the NBA finals. And nobody's tuning in still because nobody cares about these teams.
Yeah, the geography doesn't help with the long travel.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but even then, it's like because I think when they went, was it when they just went from Florida to Edmonton? It was only one day break, right? Like a normal 1 day break. So they're not even giving them the extra 2 in between traveling. But both teams are doing it, so it's not like somebody has the advantage. It shouldn't. I mean, it shouldn't advantage anybody because they're both doing the same. They're both on the exact same travel schedule, so nobody should really benefit or have any sort of advantage over the other when it comes to that.
It seemed like Florida was ready right out of the gates of that game, and Edmonton was not even close. Edmonton was still
every single game.
Yeah, their starts are very, very bad, and then they have to battle back. I mean, you got to give them credit though; they've battled back a ton in these playoffs.
Playoffs. Yeah.
I mean, you got 2 games left now, maybe 1 game left. I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, we just see the superstar power that they have, and it's literally the only reason why they're there. And you have McDavid and Draisaitl both tied with 33 points, and the next closest is 10 beneath them. So am I right on that? I believe that's what it is. So it's it's shame on Edmonton again. I mean, who knows? The series isn't over. I mean, it looks to be over, and even the games that Edmonton has won. You could even argue that Florida should have won those, but it's still, going to Game 6. Edmonton has to win 2 straight games. It's not completely unheard of. Anything can happen. They can both go to overtime. They can both be decided by 1 shot. Who the hell knows? But it seems as if like the series has been over for a long time, just because every game, even though it's 3 games to 2 Florida, every game Florida has either been right there or dominated, even in their losses. So Game 1 was probably the closest. And, Game 3 with the comeback, that's Edmonton playing well for a period and a half, maybe, if that.
Yeah, not the first period.
No.
Yeah.
So basically the second period is when they tied the game, and then third period was even again. So I don't know. It's like I said, it's still been exciting, I guess, from what I've watched. And I will say that I've literally watched 2 games so far, and both games Florida it was the 6-1 win. And now this previous win that they just
dominated.
did.
So you got to watch Game 6.
Yeah, if I watch games, I can't because we have games tomorrow. So who knows how tomorrow will go?
So
tomorrow could go to overtime again.
Is going to win one.
Well, up. You should record it and then watch it and see what happens.
No, I don't. First of all,
that's a waste of time.
No,
I
I'm
don't
just
have
joke.
a VCR anymore.
Yeah, you got to put on VHS.
VHS.
Draisaitl, McDavid, 33 points. Bouchard, 23 points. Sam Bennett is tied for fourth with Rantanen and Kachuk with 22 points. All right, let's talk about the Florida Panthers because they do get cookies here because they've played fantastic. But the two guys I want to highlight, one, Sam Bennett, 15 goals, 13 on the road. The guy is just clutch against in other people's barns. And then Brad Marchand, 10 goals, 10 assists, 20 points. He's got 5 goals in this cup final alone. Those two highlight reel goals in Game 5.
McDavid, I think, only has 1 goal, and he just scored it.
McDavid has 1. Yep.
Yeah, but that was a hell of a goal.
Yeah, it was disgusting. And we were talking. I was with Steve, and I was kept saying, why doesn't he just shoot? He should be selfish, because some of the passes, they know he's looking for open teammates, so they keep having their sticks in the lanes, but they're just giving him clear lanes to shoot. Mm-hmm. Like, this guy is lethal enough. He could be a 50 to 60 goal scorer. He should do that in this series. He needs to do that, and then that will create. Yeah, that will create shooting lanes, passing lanes for him, because they're gonna be now. They have to watch him try to score.
Yeah, they'll follow him.
And yeah, I just sometimes these superstar players.
What he does, if you watch him and maybe watch it a little bit closer when he does this vintage Connor McDavid, he gets the puck in the defensive zone, comes with all the speed, and the other team, and you can even see Florida, they all back up,
Yep.
Give him the space. But now what's becoming predictable is that he's basically just a one-man zone entry.
Yep.
And no one even attempts to step up to him because they just come in and crash or back up and try to defend. And, he, like you were saying, he could keep going and just shoot. But what he's doing is he's just dropping it to a guy. So he enters the zone and immediately drops it to somebody. And usually that somebody is not named Leon Draisaitl. And if that's the case, he needs to just hang on to the puck and just keep going right to the net. And then, have chaos ensue from there. Because once he gains all that speed and gains all that momentum, it's all gone once he dishes it back to whoever the hell it is that he's dishing it back to. And I think Florida's onto that, and I think Florida's defending it very well.
To get on Marchand, and this is kind of leads to my next question with you guys. Obviously, the 5 goals in the playoffs, in the finals, he has been an absolute beast. So, is he? And I understand the series isn't over yet, and Edmonton could come back to win. But you think he is second in the voting on the Panthers side for MVP, Bennett being number 1. Is he the best trade deadline acquisition that you guys can remember?
Well, it depends, because I think...
And also, and to add to that, Seth Jones being also technically trade deadline acquisition, because he was traded this season. Is this the best trade deadline acquisitions you can?
I wouldn't call him a trade deadline, because you could, if you want to say a trade
happens
happens
in season trade. In season trade, are these the two best? Is this the best in season trading that you've seen a team do in quite a while?
No, because I think you see every team who wins the cup they win the cup because of their acquisitions during the course of the season. They usually have some sort of Tampa had multiple during the course of their cup wins. The Penguins also had multiple during the course of their cup wins. So I think you see, and it doesn't always mean you see, usually the one who makes the biggest splash and gets the biggest piece doesn't make it. It's the ones who, know where their weaknesses are on the roster and just either add depth or, depth pieces, for example. And I think Marchand was, for as big as a splash that he wasn't really on anyone's radar during that trade deadline, right? And it was just all right, what's going to happen, whatever.
Because they didn't think he was going to do it.
Yeah, and and you speculate, where he might go, but of course, he says I only want to go to Florida, so Boston's pretty much handcuffed there, so they get whatever they can get out of him at the time. So I think it's Marchand is definitely one of the more noticeable ones. I think some of the other ones usually play some kind of supporting role in the cup wins, but I feel like
I'll give you guys.
I feel like you go back to every single Cup winner, and you can give them some sort of accolade for whatever acquisition they made.
Yeah,
during the course of the
I'll give you
season
a few. And you guys can obviously Schwim. I want you to weigh in because you have a couple in here. Shorts guy, same thing. Obviously, you talk about Hagel and Paul in the 1 year the Tampa wins. You have the Gaudreau Coleman year, and then you also have Tanner Jeannot and his 37 draft picks that were traded. But a couple names. 3 years ago, Arturi Lehkonen, right? He has the 8 goals in the 20 games for the Avalanche. He was dynamite for Colorado. 14 or 15 points, I think, is just very clutch, right? He had a couple game winners, including overtime winners. In 2015, Antoine Vermette, right, had the 3 game-winning goals for 2014 Chicago Blackhawks. This one was pretty nice. I forgot about this. Marian Gaborik, when he's traded from the Rangers to the from Columbus to the Kings, had 14 goals that postseason in 26 games.
Wow.
And then also Jeff Carter. He, had, I think it was 8 goals and 5 assists in the 20 games that they won the Cup. Steven Marian Hossa, the Penguins didn't win in 2008, but he had 12 goals and 14 assists in 20 games.
Yeah, he was
Marian
awesome.
Hossa was a beast. And then Rolly, the goalie, shorts guy, Dwayne Rollison, the Oilers. They didn't win the Cup, but they went to the Stanley Cup Finals, and he was a trade deadline acquisition.
Yeah, that's like the last one I can think of. A goalie that went trade deadline acquisition.
Yeah, he had a 927 save percentage.
Oh yeah, he was winning the Conn Smythe if they had won, because Cam Ward ended up winning the Conn Smythe. So it was going to be one of those two, and Rollison was absolutely winning that should they have won.
Mm-hmm. Was that the last great goaltender that Edmonton had?
I mean, Rolly the goalie being great, maybe.
I think he had great
compared to what Edmonton has had.
Yeah,
it's like
I threw out a trade that Steve was like interested in. Not interested in. You thought that maybe that Oilers would win that trade. The hypothetical I threw out to you.
Which was it?
McDavid to the Rangers for Shesterkin.
Yeah,
Shesterkin, Lafreniere, and Keandre Miller.
Yeah, it's interesting. It was just that. I mean, just it picks whatever. But like, if you do, McDavid for Shesterkin, Miller, and Lafreniere, I think Edmonton becomes a better. I think they become a better team.
I think they're a better team too. Yeah.
What would you do if that actually happened? Would you immediately shit your pants?
Yes, easily.
What would be your
major soilage
initial reaction? What would you do?
I would be listen, and of course, all the people that are like, "Oh, goalies shouldn't make $10 million," all that bullshit. They would immediately be happy because you get the cap hit off from the goalie. But yeah, that would be. The Rangers haven't had that guy since Messier,
and then
really. So
and then you turn into the Oilers.
Oh, sorry, Yager. They had Yager. Who was that guy?
You have no goal. You have no goalie.
Well,
you have
not true. Not true.
No
defense. Goalie. We talked about him. Defense is
it's an AHL guy, so you're talking about a guy who might be okay if he comes.
True, yeah. But I'm sure that any goalie they bring off the street to play in net for a season or two is better than Skinner and Picard. Has to be. Those two.
I mean,
that has to be one of the worst goaltending tandems in the NHL.
Definitely for a Stanley Cup finalist. Although I don't know if it was Skinner and. Who was the last? Because Pickard wasn't there last year. Who was it?
Skinner and no, it was Pickard. Right? Wasn't it Pickard?
I don't think Pickard. I think Pickard came this offseason. I know what's his name was still there. But what's Jack Campbell? But he was in the minors, I think, at that time, or at the third string or something.
There was a big guy.
Oh yeah, wasn't what the hell's that guy's name? He's like 6'6" or something.
Yeah. Crap.
I can't think of his name.
Is he in the league anymore?
I don't think so.
So it was worse last year. So technically it's improved over the course of 1 year.
Oh, it does say it says
is it
playoffs. Here we go.
But I know
it was Pickard.
I know the guy that you're thinking of. I can't think of his freaking name.
Maybe that's 2 years ago. Was I thinking of?
I thought Pickard came in this offseason.
No, it was Pickard last year. I just looked it up.
Yeah, Pickard played last year. Yeah.
Playoffs. It was Campbell Skinner. Who was the big guy that they had? He was Schwim. He was 6'6".
Yeah. Was he Finnish or something? He had like a or Russian, or I don't know. He had a long ass last name, I think. Oh, Koskinen or something.
Koskinen.
Like that.
Yep, Mikko Koskinen. I just found it. Yep.
There you go.
And that was with Mike Smith. Yeah, he was 6'7". Yeah.
There you go. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Koskinen and Mike Smith. What a Edmonton just can't get out of their own way. They just continually get dog shit goaltending.
I don't think they want, like. I guess the big splash was Jack Campbell, but everybody knew. I mean, they had money for Campbell. Campbell was supposed to be something, but everybody kind of knew that he wasn't going to be, right? He was like, he definitely overachieved, like you could tell. And the poor bat, like, I mean, good for him. He got paid. So I can't fault him for anything. Part of me wishes he had a, easier career than what he had, because I know that he went to Edmonton, was terrible. He went to the minors, and I think he was even terrible in the minors. So, but at least he got paid. So
didn't
good
they trade
for him.
him to like Detroit or something this year?
Yeah, he's somewhere else.
Right?
Yeah,
I forgot.
Yeah. You guys got anything more on the series before we get a couple little things, and we'll actually make a quicker one?
Well,
I just hope it ends tomorrow.
Might be.
Yeah,
that would be nice. I'm looking forward to this ending, and then I'm actually looking forward to the draft next week. Is it next week or the week after?
It's the last. Isn't it like the last weekend of June or something?
Is it?
Yeah.
June. Excuse me, 27th.
Should be the last week.
So it is next week. Next Friday. Okay, the end of the week.
Okay. Yeah, it is.
Friday.
We'll
and
have
Saturday.
to. We'll have to talk with Let's Be Devils podcast and see what's going on for next Friday. That'd be interesting. Maybe
we'll hopefully some deals go down.
You always
Rangers. We'll see.
I always want a deal.
I think the Rangers will have something going because I think they want to trade that pick, but
they're going to trade for Isaac Howard.
Yeah.
That's one of my predictions. I think it's going to happen.
I like Isaac Howard.
I don't think they can trade that pick.
Yes, they can.
If they decide to keep it, they can trade it.
No, the 26.
Yeah,
I think they make a deal before the deadline to either to acquire somebody for the first round pick, for whatever one they choose to keep.
So if they give Pittsburgh this year's, then they can trade next year's. But I don't think they can keep this year's, trade it, and then give Pittsburgh. That's interesting. I don't know if that's. I wonder if they can do that.
What do you mean? Why can't they get next year's?
If they're keeping this one, then whatever they do with it, that's up to them. And then
you get one or the other, so they're going to trade whatever one they don't.
That'd be
You
interesting.
can give a back-to-back picks
if they kept it this year. If they choose to keep it and then trade it,
I don't know.
And then they don't have next year's regardless. But yeah, I don't know how the language works, but I guess they can do that. I guess if they keep it, they can do whatever the hell they want to do with it.
Steven, I don't think we talked about this last episode because I don't think it was announced yet. But you, sir, owe me a Zona.
I think we did talk about it, did we? No, it was Tuesday.
We talked about it? Yeah, it was Tuesday.
I definitely didn't agree to a Zona. Every time I'm wrong, you say I owe you a Zona.
No, we did Zona bet on this one.
I'm wrong almost all the time.
I said that
I literally cannot remember the last time I ever agreed on a Zona bet. It had to be at least 10 years ago.
I even said it, and I'm pretty positive you said Zona. I'll look at the tape. I have it. Connor Hellebuck not only got votes for the Vezina and the Hart Trophy, he won the Hart. And Steven, you said shocked.
They did, right?
Yeah. You said you would be shocked, and
I would be shocked. I said I was going to be shocked if he was. I said I was going to be shocked if he was nominated.
If he was a finalist.
I don't agree. Yeah. I gave you. I don't need to go into it anymore. I already explained everything about how I would be shocked and why I didn't think he should be there, because he has the Vezina Trophy, which he obviously won. But I don't think, when I think of the Hart Trophy goaltenders, and I understand that he had a great season, but and he definitely contributed to the success of Winnipeg. I'm not going to downplay that at all. But when I think of the Hart Trophy goaltenders, the first thing I think of is the one season where Carey Price literally played with a team of talentless players and brought them and had the season that he had. And then you think of somebody like Dominik Hasek. And I have a couple outliers here and there, but you think of guys that were just so dominant and so good, just noticeably. Like when you think of the Hart Trophy, you're just like, yeah, no, those guys, absolutely. This was like, hey, Connor Hellebuck could be nominated for the Hart, and you're just like, all right, I guess, but Kucherov should probably win, if not Draisaitl should probably win, because those guys had monstrous seasons that you could say is even comparable to what Hellebuck did. But I don't know. I don't agree with it. So, but it is what it is. I don't vote. It's the media who votes. So they did what they did.
Yeah,
he won
Kucherov,
by a pretty sizable margin. Kucherov didn't even finish second, which is also insane.
He won,
to me.
but he did.
No,
he
barely
won the. He won the Lester B. Pearson, which is the players.
The Ted Lindsay.
The players vote. Ted Lindsay.
Yeah. At least he won something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good one to have, because if the players are telling you you're the best player in the league that year, that's pretty damn. That's a lot. I think that's a lot. Well, even though the Hart is always going to be the Hart, but that one seems as a player better, because like it's either all of my peers are telling me I'm the best player in this league, or all of these biased media guys are telling me I'm the best player in the league. Like I think I don't understand how. I mean, I'm sure I can look into the history of how it's voted, or why the Hart Trophy is voted on by media. Because there are some people, if you go down the list of votes, there are some absolutely ridiculous players in there that received.
Nick Suzuki got a first round vote, and the guy actually said he was the one that did it, and everyone's like, "You should get your credentials immediately revoked." That guy should not
a lot of them do it
anymore.
Those guys. And like I say, we're in the era of clickbait. Those media personalities come out and say that on purpose to generate more clicks on their site, because even if it's people ridiculing them, they're getting flooded with popularity. So that they're seen more, and they're going to constantly be seen more. And now you're going to start seeing like, oh, there's a rumor that so and so is going here, and that's all it takes. And like I said about rumors all the time, that all it takes is one idiot to say something, and all of a sudden it becomes a rumor, and then it catches fire, and then it spreads, and then all of a sudden people start believing it, and it's, even though it's very silly. So I don't know. I don't all of this ever since the whole Mario Lemieux debacle, losing to Wayne Gretzky in that season, I don't trust the media voting for the Hart Trophy. And I think this is another season. Although, big props to Hellebuck. He had a great season. I think absolutely deserving of the Vezina. But I'm sorry, I don't think. I mean, if I had a vote, I wouldn't have voted for it. But then again, I'm just one idiot with a microphone.
One crotchety old man.
Yeah. Also, if you are looking to sports bet, anybody, or if any of you are into sports betting, 1,000% ask me for my opinion and do the opposite, because I am wrong.
Yeah,
so
Steven's always wrong. Yep.
That you can almost count on it, and to be like, set your watch to me being incorrect. It should be studied at this point, I think.
Yep.
Could be.
Just quickly, Carey Price, when he did win the Hart, was 44 wins. He had the 933 save percentage, the 196 goals against, 9 shutouts. And he did have not a great 9 shutouts. Not a great team overall.
The team, like Steven said, the team in front of him was hot garbage.
Yeah,
Look at the team in front of Hellebuck.
Yeah.
They were one of the best defensive teams ever, and they won the
until the playoffs.
This year,
until the playoffs.
Well, of course, he had
a 197 goals against Hellebuck. He had a 926 save percentage and 47 wins with 8 shutouts. Yeah, his team's a little better.
I'm okay with the nomination.
What about shots against?
A little iffy with
shots against for both.
Shots against 1664 for Hellebuck.
I think Vasi had the most shots against, didn't he?
Shots against.
Talking about comparatively.
1828, so 200 more.
Oof.
Yeah, significant.
Yeah. He played in 66 games while Hellebuck played in 62.
Yeah,
so 4 more games.
Just in 4 games, 200 shot difference.
Yeah, 50 shots a game.
Yeah, that's so.
That makes sense.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
And now nobody has to watch. Nobody has to watch the award ceremony.
Yep, correct. I did like how they did the awards though with the videos.
I haven't watched that in years.
Yeah, nobody's watching that shit.
Yeah, they did the awards.
It's like the All-Star game. It's like so played now. Nobody cares.
All right. USA Hockey announced so between today and tomorrow, all 8 teams, I think it is.
6 players, right?
Six
Yeah,
players.
6 players for
all 8
Canada
teams
and
announced 6
Quebec.
players. USA announced their team. Their 6. Matthew and Brady Tkachuk, Austin Matthews, Jack Eichel, Quinn Hughes, and Charlie McAvoy are the first
Yeah, no
6, avoiding
surprises.
goaltenders on the
No.
initial roster.
McAvoy's okay enough to be announced for the team?
Guess so. Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
so.
Until next February. So
Yeah, they got time.
Got time to
Do you
heal.
did you find it weird that they didn't announce either a Hellebuck or Ottinger
no,
over
No.
McAvoy?
it doesn't matter, to be honest. They're gonna. I mean, you know what goalies are gonna be there. So I honestly I don't think I did for when they announced the 4 nations. Did anybody announce a goaltender in their 6, or was it just all skaters? I can't remember, but I wouldn't
I'm
be
wondering-
surprised if no one picks no one announces a goalie.
I think Finland
I'm
did.
wondering
Didn't
if
they
that's
announce
based on how they played in the playoffs.
I was gonna
because
give
Ottinger didn't finish up too well, and Hellebuck didn't look great either. So I don't know if they may want to hold those announcements until people forget about the playoffs.
They'll be there. Yeah, I mean,
know
yeah,
they'll
because
be
there is
but
some
recency
good competition
bias-
with goaltending.
But recency bias says that they didn't do very well in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, but your 3-time Vezina Trophy winning.
No.
goaltender
I'm not
is a slam dunk.
disagreeing.
There's no way.
Yeah,
he's
he
not
should
going.
be a
I'm
slam dunk.
I mean,
Yeah, even if he's
listen,
the,
I'm
even
not
the third
disagreeing.
guy.
I'm not disagreeing about his
the other 6,
placement on the team, but right now, his most recent play wasn't good, so they're probably just holding
Yeah.
off on that announcement. Same with Ottinger, because otherwise people are going to piss him off. Because people are idiots.
Canada had Crosby, McDavid, McKinnon, McCarr, Braden Point, and Sam Reinhart.
I was a little surprised by that he was one of the first 6.
Sam,
I think he would be
Latvia.
on the team, but I didn't think he'd be announced as like one of the first 6.
What'd you say, Steven?
Point and Reinhardt, I wouldn't have
Point and Reinhart.
guessed would be the automatic.
Latvia, the only guy was 2 guys, Zemgus Jurgensons and Elvis Merzlikins. Oh, sorry, Artur Silovs as well.
Yeah, they announced 2 goalies.
Teddy
All right.
Bluegers is also on that team.
Because the rest are probably not NHLers.
Yeah.
Finland.
I want to see Team Italy. Who did they announce?
I'll tell you in a sec. I got all of them. Finland, Jussi Saros, Esa Lindell, Miro Heiskanen, Mikko Rantanen, Alexander Barkov, and Sebastian Aho. Sweden was Dahlin, Hedman, Kempe, Landeskog, Nylander, and Raymond. Landeskog on there.
That's great. Yeah, that's crazy. Landeskog's on there. I like that. Good for him.
Just gonna make him captain. They're gonna make him captain.
Yeah,
I guess, right?
probably.
He hasn't. He's never captained a Swedish team, has he? Unless they're the IIHF or juniors. I don't know if he did it during juniors. Because Hedman was, right?
Sure.
Hedman just was.
This last
Hedman
one
was,
yeah.
Yeah. And now you're gonna take that away from him? That's well, maybe Hedman's just like Landeskog should. Hedman's older, isn't he? Or same age? Were they the same draft?
No, they weren't the same draft. I don't think.
No, I don't know.
I don't remember.
Shroom can look it up. Czechia, Pasta, Natchez, Palat, Zaka, Gudis. Radko Gudis made Czechia. And
He's
Luke
a captain,
Stossel.
okay?
Yeah. Jesus. Switzerland, Siegenthaler, Yossi, Fiala, Nico Hischier, Nino Niederreiter, and Timo Meyer. So the Devils.
Should have announced Dostal.
Yep, could have announced Dostal.
Swiss.
Dostal is Czechia.
He is?
Yeah, he was announced for Czechia's team.
Oh.
I just said his name. The Germans.
Czech?
Is it German?
Draisaitl, Seider, Grubauer, Lucas Reichel, Nico Sturm, and Stutzla. Slovakia has Slavkovsky, Martin Pospisil, and Simon Nemec, Feravari, Chernak, and Tatar. Denmark has Ferdy Anderson, Ehlers, Bjorkstrand, 2 guys I don't know, and Lars Eller.
I wonder if some of these
France
teams
has
like they know who their team is already, or if
Yeah,
they're just like
sure.
debating on who the guys who play in like their home leagues or whatever. If they're those
Yeah,
are the
that's
only
what-
ones that are because to announce
like
Nemec is your top 6 is
yeah.
I don't know. Sure, okay, that's fine.
France has P. Belmar, and then Alexander Texier, and then they have a bunch of French guys, and then
Heck yeah.
Italy.
Yeah,
Here's
they
the
are.
Italians. Damian Clara, Thomas Larkin, Luca Zanata,
Okay.
Diego Costner, Tommy Perdeller, and Daniel Montenuto.
Those
Okay, you got
names aren't Italian enough.
2 Italians.
Yeah, Luca
Montenuto.
Zanata might be the only.
Yeah, that's probably the only one.
I think Montenuto is a pretty good one too.
We need a Giuseppe something or other.
You need a Dominic DeCoco.
Yes, that'd be good.
I'm surprised.
There better be a Giuseppe on that Italian team.
There better be. I want a Giuseppe Margaretti.
And you got to say it with like this.
Margaretti. Yeah, so that's the first 6 for each team.
I'm watching it right now.
Islanders have Bonus as their assistant GM.
Really?
Obviously, the ex-coach.
Is that Rick Bonus' son?
Yep.
GM.
Ex-coach, yeah.
Oh,
assistant GM.
Nice.
And finally, something that I unfortunately have to bring up because it's a depressing time in my life. The Rangers trading Chris Kreider to the Ducks. And listen, it was something that, yeah, it's going to be a lot more. I'm hoping. And, you know, the guy is class act, like just what he does behind the scenes. Everyone just talks about it. He doesn't want fanfare and he doesn't like the limelight. He's very personal and private. Like he didn't even announce the birth of his kids or like when his wedding was. Like he's really to himself, right? And he's a great guy. I've had a pleasure to meeting him a couple times, and he's always, you know, signing autographs and doing the right thing. But unfortunately, this year happened, and he was a part of the leadership group that failed the Rangers. You know, full on, top down, whole organization issues. The fact that he's the first one that they jettisoned pisses me off. I didn't like that very much. I think that, you know, when you have Zibanejad and a couple other guys in the locker room that, you know, don't do as well, unfortunately, you just can't trade Zibanejad because of a stupid no movement clause, which we got to get rid of in the NHL in general. I don't. But, you know, the guy, 300 goals. I had, there was a stat I had. I pulled it up.
I don't think you guys are ever going to have a career player.
No.
Have we had career players? We've definitely had career players.
Sturkin may be the closest right now.
Oh, Lundqvist.
Maybe. Like a homegrown.
No,
technically, he never played a game with the Washington Capitals.
He signed a contract with the Washington Capitals.
It was
they chose not to. They chose not to bring him back, and he signed a contract with the Washington Capitals. That's not a career. I mean, voided. Yeah, he didn't play another game, but like your team was like bye. So that's not a career. That's not a career Ranger.
I mean, I would just differ, but
health circumstances. Well, nothing about his health was known until after he already signed a contract with the Washington Capitals. You can't just be like, oh no, that doesn't count. Look, he got sick. Sorry, he's not a Capital. He is a Capital. The Washington Capitals fully recognize that he was a Washington Capital.
Yep.
They should retire his number just to piss off all the Ranger fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, where was that?
So while you're looking that up, Billy Dean, I saw this Kreider adjacent post online. There's this company that does customization of jerseys, but their turnaround time is like 6 to 8 months. It's ridiculous. Okay. So this Ranger fan just got his 2 jerseys back that's taken like 8 months. One of them was one of the reverse retro Liberty heads, and another one was just a regular Ranger jersey. The 2 jerseys he had sent out months and months and months ago to get done up. One was Kreider. Now, he received these jerseys like 2 days after the Kreider trade. One was Kreider, and the other was Trouba.
Nice.
Someone had sent this guy had sent these jerseys out at the beginning of the season to get Trouba and Kreider done up on these jerseys, and 2 days after he gets them, Kreider's traded. Both players are gone. Over the course of the 8 months, his jerseys were out. I thought it was kind of funny, but kind of sad at the same time.
Yeah, it is sad. Yeah, it sucks. Kerry Terrence is the prospect they got back, who, you know, he's a middle 6 center, you know, probably third liner. pretty good skater, fits like the mold that is. People say Lars Eller, he fits the mold that Sullivan's kind of looking for. But here's the stat that I had, and I didn't realize this, but since 2013, players to have 300 goals, 100 power play goals, 50 game-winning goals, and 10 shorthanded goals. Chris Kreider, and that is it.
That's very
No one
specific.
else is on that list.
Wow.
Well, but still, it's pretty impressive. 100 power play, 50 game
is,
winners, and 10 shorthanded.
From 2013, you said?
Yeah. So 10 years, 30 goals a game, 30 goals a season. Sorry, 12 years. A little under that. Yeah.
Who's next out of there? Miller?
Probably Keandre Miller. He's getting a lot of trade buzz.
I've
Probably
been hearing
prior to
stuff
this.
about Zibanejad, but how is that even possible?
So, yeah, apparently that once they traded Kreider, he's become more amenable to leaving because it's his best friend, right? It's his best man at his wedding, best friend in real life. Like, maybe he can see that there's light on the end of the tunnel somewhere else. Maybe it's worth it for him to do it. And I'm not one of those he's a dickhead for not for wanting to stay. These guys have no movement clauses, and they put that in their contract for a reason. And he has a family and his kids starting school and stuff, so I can completely understand why he wants to stay there. On the other hand, though, if your team doesn't want you and they've almost made it known, like, do you really want to be in that working environment? Like, if my company was like, yeah, we don't like you, but we can't get rid of you. Like, would you want to at least venture and see?
I think you're focusing on the wrong thing here, because it's like, I mean, first of all, we can't sympathize with any of this because our jobs just aren't at all similar. But
yeah,
I think like trying to say that the player should, just because the team is just like, nah, we don't want you anymore. And then just saying like the player should just like be like, all right, well, I guess this working environment sucks. I should go somewhere else. Which, yeah, it does if you think about it. But why? Like, I understand it's a business, yes, but an organization just basically forcing somebody out and agreeing to a contract. Like, we all talk about contracts, and I have spoken in the past about like NFL players who will sign a contract and then all of a sudden they're like, you know what, I don't like that contract. Give me a new one. Like,
I'm going to hold
signed
out
it
because I want to know.
You know what? Yeah, you signed a contract. It's in writing. You agreed to it. You should honor the contract. And with this, no movement clauses are put in, and they're put in for a reason for players like somebody like Zibanejad, who wants to, lay down his roots, have a family, have his family go to school, have a familiar place, and just like have his kids can grow up and he can just be in one place. And granted he's traveling for hockey, but they can actually be somewhere and live somewhere, and the family can be comfortable somewhere. And that, by an organizational standard, should also be honored. And you could inquire about the player to be like, listen, would you be willing to? And the player's just like, no, I want to stay here. And then to create such a toxic environment, i.e. Jacob Trouba, for them to play in and be surrounded by and get the media involved in, and then to get the fans involved in, I think is much worse than trying to fault a player for not just being like, you know what, this sucks, I should go. Because that's not what they signed up for. They signed up for a career, to play, to get paid, and to stay where they are. And that's why they both agreed on a no movement. And granted, a guy can say, yes, okay, I will agree to move. But if he says no, and then you create this environment that basically forces them out, I think that's really, really shitty. Like, really shitty. But, again, it's a business. I don't work in it. I'm not employed by any of it. So it's cutthroat, sure. But I think it's definitely a
but at what point
blemish
also
on the organization for sure.
Is it also a blemish on him that he essentially quit for 2 months?
I don't think
outright. What did you didn't watch him play for literally November and December?
You can assume intent all you want, but you don't know that he quit.
Mm-hmm.
If he wasn't showing up for practice,
lackadaisical play.
If he wasn't showing up for practice, if he wasn't showing up for meetings, if he wasn't doing any sort of team events or anything like that, then yeah, you can criticize the guy that he just kind of gave up. But if he's having just a bad season, and no matter what he does, he cannot correct it, Like that just sort of sometimes happens.
No,
and I
but
look
if
at
you watch
somebody
us
like
play at the end of
Ricard
the year,
Raquel, like Ricard Raquel, not last year, the year before, was not producing at all, to the point where he was routinely on the third line, couldn't get anything going, couldn't do anything. He looked like he was putting in the work. He was just snake bitten. That's all it was. And he comes back next season and he has literally a career year. So you don't know what's going to happen next season. It could have just been like a whole bunch of stuff that was going wrong all at the same time, which ended up looking the way that it did. And it's frustrating for these guys. They're all human. If it's not working and they're going on these massive slumps, they know, and they know everyone's looking at them.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't tell me that they just gave up, because I'm not for a second going to believe that he just gave up. He's not that kind of player. I don't think he's that kind of person to just be like, you know what, screw it, I'm not going to play here. I'm not going to try anymore, because that's just absolutely not the case.
I saw his January and February where when Miller came and he put him on the wing, he actually then tried. It became a better player, and I don't think that that's because of just the player. I think that I don't know. There's plenty of people that think that he just did not give as much effort as he typically did.
You're a fan of the team, and you get mad at these guys when they don't produce like they're supposed to. And I get it. Like I've gotten mad at guys that, like, you're making a lot of money and you're just not, like, I talk about Tristan Jarry and Brian Graves. Like they signed these big contracts and just have been miserable the entire time. And I'm not saying about either of them that it's a matter of not working hard and not trying. Whatever it is that's not working, it's either a system thing, a coaching thing, whatever their style. Well, for Jari, I think I saw the writing on the wall before that contract even happened. Like I wasn't confident in him, whatever. But he wanted a big payday. He got it. Good for him. That's on him but I'm not going to be like, he didn't sign a no movement clause, so I can't say anything about that. And it's not like the organization wasn't trying to trade him, because they were. It's just nobody wants him. So, but yeah, as far as the no movement clause go, that's basically what I'm stressing, is that these contracts are written, they're agreed upon. I think they should be honored. And, it doesn't mean that you can't try to move them or ask them to be moved, but you cannot create this toxic work environment like they did for some of these guys, to the point of, Trouba, with Trouba's situation, who, I didn't even like Trouba. And now, maybe Kreider fed off of that too. And now he's going over to play with Trouba again. Maybe that was part of the reason why he's like, you know what, that's not bad. It's not a bad idea. I can go over with Trouba and play. And also, Anaheim, I know that they're getting a lot from Anaheim, but Anaheim's actually not a bad organization to end up on, as far as, the lower echelon teams.
A lot of good young players on that team.
Yeah.
They could be good
in a couple of years.
Yeah, they could be good soon if they do well.
Mm-hmm. And just adding some vets in there, some decent quality vets with some leadership amongst all those good young players, it could do them some good. So, I think it's I think it's a decent environment for Kreider overall, to be honest.
Plus, as far as Zibanejad is concerned too, as far as Zibanejad is concerned, you don't know how much what Trouba was doing affected him. Hearing everyone say he's giving up. Like, it just, you don't know how that stuff affects you. It's not that, maybe.
Well, Trouba's a different.
Well, but I'm saying the Zibanejad could have fed off what was going on with Trouba, and it could have just messed up his game as well. He knows.
I would want to hang on to Zibanejad. I wouldn't call for his immediate resignation. I think I would keep him into next season. New coach, new system. New players.
If you can get rid of his contract in any way, shape, or form, adios. See you later. Even if he returns to the 80-point player that he was, like, you're getting rid of 6 years at $8.5 million. You absolutely, any opportunity to get rid of that, you do it.
And 2 years, $8.5 million might not be that much.
As far as cap 6 years, in 4 or 5 years, when he's a 50 or 60-point player and clearly not what he was, $8.5 million is still not a good salary.
Well, it depends what you want. If you want to bring in just some like potential prospects and picks, you're not going to get immediate impact players. I don't think you're going to get immediate impact players, but you can get some not top prospects, but you can get some decent prospects, or a decent prospect, and then a handful of picks, and that's good. But I mean, you're also looking at
just take the salary.
Your team is you're doing the salary dump, but your team's taking a major hit. Like, you need to start preparing that if you're getting rid of these quality players, that you very well may also not make the playoffs next year again.
again.
And you just brought in this coach to bring immediate success. And if you're bringing in this coach to bring in immediate success while also cleaning house on any of your talent,
it opens up spots for young kids on the wing, because right now your two top centers.
So you guys want to sign people. You want to get rid of this money so you can go sign whatever free agents you want to fill these.
But I'm saying your two top centers right now.
That's the Rangers MO right there.
JT Miller,
because your minor league system is garbage. So you don't have really anything.
Bottom.
They were just one of the worst teams in the entire AHL last season.
Well, that's because they don't have anybody in the actual AL. Like Perot went right from college. You have a bunch of guys that are just college and then coming in. Anyways, this was funny. I saw this breaking news.
Too.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Apparently, the Leafs are going to sign Sam Bennett, Ehlers, Duchesne, Besser, Kane, Marchand, Provorov, Besser, Granlund, Fabro, Kane, Donato, Orlov, Drouin, Ben, Giroux.
Are you talking about
Taves.
the Leafs or are you talking about the Devils? Because as far as the Devils,
that's
I thought that was the Rangers. I thought that was the Rangers fantasy signing.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's not surprising. Also,
that was very funny. I saw that. It was good.
Good old
and then
media.
Lastly, just to really dig in on the Rangers, this was their net rating for every player from 2008 to 2008 to 2024. Their top five, Gaborik was really good for the Rangers. Panarin has 2 seasons where he was top notch. Adam Fox. So that's a top 5. Bottom 5, and I'll go from best worst to worst. Patrick Nemeth, 11.3. That's really, really bad, by the way. That was in his 21-22 season before they jettisoned him to Arizona along with 2 second-round picks. They had to give 2 second-round picks to get rid of Nemeth and his horrible contract. Capo Caco, his 19-20 season, his rookie year was not good. Mark Stahl, his 2018-2019 season was good God awful. Tanner Glass, 2014-15, 13 and a half.
I refuse to believe
awful.
That. I don't believe that for a second. No.
One of the worst. By the way, that's statistic. That's one of the worst years you can have. And finally, Colton Orr, 14.2 in 08-09 was the worst. By the way, these 3 fuckheads are in our player development system. Tanner Glass, Mark Stahl, and Colton Orr run our player development.
Yeah, you're in
they
some
couldn't
trouble.
play hockey.
You guys are in good hands.
Jesus Christ.
Tanner Glass is the future captain of Bone Stone.
And you know what? You need Steve Valiquette to be your goaltending coach.
Oh my God,
that would be really
that'd be the icing on the cake.
We have the best goaltending coach in the league, and we're going to continue to have him for a while. So
maybe he'll go. Maybe he'll go to follow Dan Muse. Go follow Dan Muse.
He's been through 6 New York Rangers head coaches. So I'm pretty sure he likes it.
I heard he liked Dan Muse the best. So he
Mitch Marner hits the open market January 1. He said, "See you later, Toronto." I have never wanted the Carolina Hurricanes to sign a player more for $14 million per year than Mitch Marner. He is a match made in heaven. That's all I got.
I feel like you guys have some hatred for the Hurricanes. I feel like they're just kind of there. And they're like a division rival, but they're just there. I don't expect anything out of them.
It's funny to have him go to that team.
Great. That'd be fun. Yeah, you'd go to one underachieving team to another underachieving team, but
I don't see him really signing there, even if they offered him that much money. Would he really want to go play for Carolina?
It appears that nobody wants to sign there. Any free agent wants to sign there, so who knows?
Yeah, apparently they wanted to deal Rantanen to Toronto for Marner, and Marner wouldn't do his no trade clause to go back to Carolina.
So he's not signing.
Well, he probably figured he had Marner probably figured he had a better run with Toronto, a better chance with Toronto than he did with Carolina. So that makes sense. Okay, he's going to Vegas. I'm certain of it.
Vegas is absolutely.
Hey, anybody betting on sports? I said Marner's going to Vegas. You know how to bet.
Not Vegas.
Bet Carolina.
Not on Vegas. Yeah.
Current cap space, $9.6 million.
Yeah, they're going to put someone on LCR. Don't worry. Slime de Jour, Drecker, awesome, 4.5.
I like the artwork, I guess.
Yeah, they do so much good stuff.
I'm not crazy about Drecker, and I think you know why. So,
Yep, lactose.
Yeah.
That's really every
Lactose.
brewery, though, unfortunately.
Yep, and I don't like them.
They're assholes.
My
Shorts?
cancer gets a 4.
4.
A 4. My goodness.
4 for
Okay.
cancer.
Esteban?
My 90-minute gets a 4 every time. It's the most solid
I'll do the same.
beer you can have.
This is pretty
4,
good. I
yeah.
liked it.
I agree,
There you
Shrimp. I agree.
That was good.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Shrimp.
I concur.
Take her home, but happy Father's Day to all. Shrimp, happy Father's Day.
Father's Day.
You too. Happy
All the
Cat
dads
Day,
out there.
Cat Father Day. And to my parents, family, friends, everybody that I love and care about, happy Father's Day.
Happy belated Father's Day, yes. But I'm going to talk about beer. I recently read an article about the
Here we
dangers
go.
of drinking.
Mm-hmm.
It scared the hell out of me, so I decided not to read that article again.